Charles Augustus Markham III.
Thank you. And thank you everybody for being here today. My presentation is Rice Gold Blood, IGOROT Pyramids of the Sky World. Now, some of you may know Jared Diamond and his famous book there, Guns, Germs, and Steel, is most eloquently written. I think he deserves a lot of credit for trying to put that narrative and those puzzle pieces together, and he did it in quite a brilliant way. Researching and studying as an anthropologist, the Philippines, which is one of my other places in Providence, I see a lot of holes. You know, as us hominids, beings that have been here for what we know archaeologically at least 2 million years, 13,000 years is 0.65% of our history. And interestingly enough, with numbers, they can get strange sometimes, but 65 million years ago also is when the dinosaurs went extinct. And so you see a lot of these interesting correlations, but for me, I saw tons of history that had never been told to me growing up in America. And I was like, how about let's add the other, 99.45% of it. I thought that would be a great idea, and there's a real beautiful story there in the Philippines, Southeast Asia Pacific. Book that I'm working on, and IGOROT Pyramids of the Sky World is just one chapter of, is try to restore a good portion of that, and also crush artificial diamonds with 1 grain of rice. I'm not going to be able to fit 2 million years of our history into 10 minutes or 15 minutes today. Also kind of doing Talanoa with the world. I just came from the Sky World, which to the people of northern Luzon, the Cordilleras, the IGOROTs, is the high mountain terrace culture there. It can be found there. Growing up, for those of you that can remember that, Montana, number 16, Rice, number 80, and they're the ones actually that gave me my first little breadcrumb to get on the trail of recovering my history, because when you look at what happened in 1680, the first telescope observed comets that had ever been recorded in history, the first ever. A huge part of their culture is not only astronomy, sacred astronomy, astronomical agriculture, but there was a great reverence for the stars. Not only the ones up there, but also tektites, meteorites. It was highly integrated into not just their jewelry, their artifacts, their tools that they used, but it was also used in things such as the storage of the different plants that they were harvesting. So the stars really played an important role. And when I started researching this, I just had to really dig deep, dive deep, because some of this stuff is really strange. This here is one of the pictures that were taken by the US government when they first went into the Philippines, into the high mountains of northern Luzon, of the terrace culture. And I started looking at this and I was like, this is really strange. This does not look like, there's more to it. And when the high definition original photos that were just recently unclassified by the, and big thanks to the US Archives, because this is where the backdrop came from. But I started really thinking, wow, this is something just, it seems so different. And when I had been up there and I went up there and I started talking to people and learning about the mythologies and the legends and the ancient archaeological artifacts that have been dug up there dating back 70,000 years, 700,000 years, all these different dates, you start seeing some interesting connections. 700,000 years ago, this Earth experienced a meteor impact that was quite drastic, a great deal of flooding. And 70,000 years ago, there was also something that they have in their legends, which is a second sun. And this was a red dwarf that was on the move and that was in the night sky and witnessed by many. And at that same time, interestingly enough, there was extreme volcanic activities on the planet that led to a great extinction event that scientists believe there was probably only 2,000 breeding pairs left of hominids left on the planet at 70,000 years ago. So this down here is from one of the most amazing masterpieces of ethnographic literary works done by Harold C. Conklin out of Yale University, but passed on now. And they're winding up some of these terraces, trying to get up to some of these places. And what I found reading the most ancient historical accounts of those first contact moments was that the Spanish, Portuguese, all of the some of the oldest explorers, they were trying to figure out what was going on here because they'd seen all this gold, all of these spices, all of these things such as rice, and they were notating them in the records, but they couldn't find out where they were coming from. And then when they finally made their way all the way up a few hundred years later to this territory, they said that there's tons, and account after account saying that they had some secret thing about mining, gold mining, and these symbolisms of the honeycomb. And they kept saying like they would honeycomb the interiors of the mountains. And so what I found is that actually this was a culture or civilization that had survived multiple catastrophic events. And what their technique was to go to the highest mountain range, the highest mountaintop, and find a freshwater spring. And I don't know if you can see it, but this right here, this aerial photograph, you can see this is running water coming down the highest elevation mountains in northern Luzon. And this is just not like one community, this is the entire mountain range of the Cordilleras in northern Luzon. And it spreads out. It spreads out in every direction. It's quite amazing. Not just of the nature of rice is one of the interesting things about it. So they went and found the mountain springs, and then they started doing mountaintop contour strip mining. And then the third portion was honeycombing the interiors of the mountains. The next accounts that you have from many of the, for example, the Jesuit chroniclers in the region stated that sometimes these mountains would implode, which was quite interesting. And so here we have another aerial photograph. This is also from Harold C. Conklin's Atlas Poubelle of the territory, just so you can get a view, an aerial view of what one little portion looks like. And if you see over here, that's people. That's just one tiny little terrace. And to see the vast nature of this, I mean, how many there are, I mean, your mind just goes to all different kinds of places. This is one of the beautiful maidens there in one of the villages. And that was also taken by one of the most brilliant photographers in the region, Mosferi. He was also half IGOROT. But the interesting thing is she has a riddle. And so I know I'm almost out of time and I have a question, and it's going to be Q&A, but I actually have a question for all of you. Some of you probably already know this. But the riddle of the Babaylan is this. If you are an ancient person, such as that, scientist, explorer, or astronomer, let's say, and you're infatuated with stars and the stars that come down to you, how can you bring the stars down from the sky without any of our modern gadgets or gizmos? Anybody have an idea? So, the fourth element that they utilized these terraces for was astronomy. And all of the accounts that have been written and that are available state that these terraces, these giant pools on the tops of these mountains, were of a reflective nature that they had never seen before. And in modern science, studying the soil, studying what they utilized to create these, terraces and the soil science within it shows that they were using highly reflective materials, not only from the land, but also they would take things from the sea. And as you know, with pyramids, such as Egypt, what went on top, the capstone, our capstone, was a beautiful, shining gold, usually, capstone on the top of those pyramids. But on these, what the chroniclers wrote was that they had these, that they were shining, they didn't know what the shiny was, and they finally found out they had salt deposits on some of the tops of these mountain pyramids. But all of this is what a real night sky looks like right here, this portion, and the reflective nature. And so each mountaintop would have its own constellation. And so these different tribes and villages actually became a part of the Pleiades, a part of the Leo, a part of the Belt of Orion. And for those of you that haven't seen what the Belt of Orion looks like when you bring it down to Earth, it looks just like that. That's a young IGOROT boy that was taken around the time of first contact. So that's my presentation. I'm out of time, but I hope y'all stay tuned. Check out my book when it comes out, and hopefully it becomes, you know, a little documentary or something. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here.
Oh, well done. Alright, we have a little bit of time for some questions. Could you expand just a little bit about kind of what you think the core question of the book will be, or the core question of your research?
You know, to be honest with you, the foundation of my research is restoration, preservation, protection, and promotion of the beautiful history in the Asia-Pacific region. And I just don't feel like it has gotten to where it should already be, because there's so many beautiful, powerful, profound stories. I see it everywhere, like going in all directions. And it's absolutely amazing. That's my mission. In regards to this, it's saying, hey, Jared Diamond, let me take the baton, and I'll take it the rest of the way for the 2 million years, because 0.65% of our history, I think there's something that is just a little bit off. But if I could, for just 1 second, the strange thing about this is the next chapter, which is journeying not to the SKYWORLD, but to the Underworld. And in the Legends of Ifugao, you couldn't get to the SKYWORLD without getting lost in the Underworld. And this is the antipodal anomaly in science, I guess you could say, which is like this, okay? So how you can get Montana over here in the Philippines, right? And you got Jerry Rice over here in the Amazon, okay? And so how do you get a piece of rice all the way over here? I don't know, but my grandpa used to tell me when we were practicing ball in the backyard, you got to thread the pipe. And that's what I was like, what is that? And so if you put the rice in here, in antipodal theory and science, and what they found is that, for example, you got a ball, this is Earth, Philippines here, Amazon here. Wherever you're at in the world, there's something on the opposite side. In regards to the Philippines, that opposite side is in the middle of the Amazon. One of the most recent studies that came out shows that the Amazon was domesticating rice 8,000 years ago, which blows my mind as a Filipino, because I'm like, what? I thought it was from Asia. And so I think there's still a lot of work we got to do. But yeah, so if you put a piece of rice over here, it comes out in the Amazon, or the other way around. I don't know, but we still have a lot of work to do. We got a lot of archaeology we need to do over there, and that's my presentation. So if there's anything else.
Charles, thanks very much.
They have to go 77 yards.
Montana, Rice, he's open! No flags are down, touchdown!
I'll tell you, that was a perfect throw by Montana. hits Rice right over the top.
78-yard touchdown pass with 42 seconds remaining.